when I first saw your product, it was in middle school, and I know one of my friends had a bracelet, and I was like, Rastaclat, what's that? And then he didn't know what it was, so I went to Zoomies, because your product is sold a lot in Zoomies, so I picked up one, and then I like the message because it brings out positive vibes and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I kind of rock with this. So, I had like black and the white ones, and then like when I got them in college, and that's when I just started losing. I said, dang, I need to get another one. But I just haven't been back to the mall since, because,
So when you went to the mall and you went to Zoomies, was it like, did you learn about the brand message first, or were you just like, that's a cool product that, I think is hype, I'll wear it, or what was like the process?
I just thought it was cool, because it was like, oh, it's a nice little... What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Go Talk. I'm your host, Josh Robinson. This is Black Ambitionz, episode 5. And apologize for the wait. I've been busy with school, work, writing articles for Prep Network, all that good stuff. I decided this is going to be the last episode for now. Not for good, but for now. I just figured that I need to let go of something for a good little moment of time while I'm accomplishing something else. And so I just decided to put this thing on pause, and I'll get back to it shortly. But I'm finna end this season on the bang, though. I set up an interview with a really good dude. He is the CEO and owner of this bracelet company called Rastaclat. Black-owned business. And his name is Kasidi. If you walk into Zoomies, you'll probably see his bracelets. If you walk into Zoomies, packs, and whatever, or if you see him on Instagram, that's his product. Like, dude is like that. He is like that. No, like, he is like that. Numerous bracelets for everybody. And the message that he's giving off for him is positive vibes, seeking positivity through anything or everything. Without further ado, I give you guys Daniel Kasidi. I know we understand that you came from Kenya and you moved to America. Can you explain like how that transition happened, like growing up in Kenya, Africa, and then moving to America?
Yeah, I moved to America when I was 5 years old, so the transition for me was at a pretty young age, which had its positives and its negatives. The positive was, I was still young, I was still learning, I was 5, so, it was easy for me to learn a new language, kind of get acclimated to a new, different way of life. Mm-hmm. But, also, as you get older, you kind of lose touch of that culture, so now being, older, man, you want to reconnect with those roots and those type of things, so... there were definitely advantages and disadvantages. I think it was great that I ended up moving to, sort of a middle-class neighborhood, which really gave me the idea and understanding that, things are possible, and in terms of what most African-Americans go through in this country, they don't necessarily see those opportunities. People buying houses, people having boats, people being able to take vacations,
right.
People having the access to fundraising and banks and all these different things. So I was lucky enough, to have that at a young age, whether, it was purposefully done or just by coincidence, I had that. So I was able to take that and sort of, make that a standard and try to elevate from there. So, the transition was quick. You kind of had to, going from Africa to America is a completely different landscape. Mm-hmm. But, I had my brother, I had my sister, we were all about a year apart. So it was cool to be able to grow up with them and have that support system and have great parents as well. So, it wasn't easy, but, it was one of the coolest things, one of the most meaningful things that changed my life.
Yeah, that's good, because that's the same thing that my friend Mark, well, his real name's Ayebale. Because he's just like you. He transitioned from Uganda, and he moved over to California. And he said the same thing. It was hard transitioning, like, trying to learn the language and stuff. And his father told him that the most important thing to do in America, like, since you're a black man, is to get an education as well.
Right.
And that'll be successful, because he said that his father, he had a whole bunch of degrees and stuff, and he just learned to be successful and to gather a whole bunch of land. And it was pretty amazing. His story is pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, my grandfather was the same. He was a professor at Cal State Fullerton. My dad was a civil engineer. My mom's a nurse. Some very educated people. And so the standard of excellence was high from a very young age. And so, even though I didn't take the route of a scholar, I studied fashion, I studied business, and I've always been an entrepreneur. That just level of standard and you're here for a reason really stuck by me, and it helped me kind of stay focused in ways that other people may have lost that focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I understand when you went to when you were in California, you picked up the hobby skateboarding, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. What made you want to get into skateboarding and stuff like that?
To be honest with you, the first reason is I have an older brother, which obviously we all look up to our older brothers. He skateboarded, and I used to just kind of, and everybody skateboarded, but he was skateboarding, and it was kind of his thing. And I wanted to skate too. It was kind of the cool thing to do in terms of it's also just kind of fun to do it. I didn't have a coach. My mom didn't have to take me anywhere to do it. So I just started skateboarding, and it was funny. My brother didn't want me to do it because he kind of wanted to have his own thing. And every time I'd do something that he did, if I copied him, I'd usually be like, pretty focused, and I end up getting really good at it. It would annoy him. Right. But I just, so I used to skate, and I used to kind of hide it. I used to skate, back spots and things like that. But, for me, for a lot of people, it was just like a way to be socially connected to other, teenagers at that point.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like my opportunity to prove myself that I could accomplish something that, that people didn't think I could accomplish. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be the best skateboarder in my school. So for me, it wasn't it was fun, but it wasn't really a game. I really had like a very serious approach to that, and I think I'm sort of the same way with everything in life at this point. It's like, there's a level of fun, but there's a level of like, let's get it, let's be the best, and so skateboarding was that first thing. And the cool thing, the thing that skateboarding taught me, bigger than anything, is that, if you guys have ever been on a skateboard, more than often you're on your ass. You're falling half the time.
Right.
And so you're gonna fall 99% of the time, and you're gonna have that brief moment of success with 1% of the time. And a lot of times that's life, that's entrepreneurship, that's school, that's relationships, that's everything. And so it teaches you that resilience, and that was my experience with it, and I'm really grateful for that.
That's good. Yeah, because my brother, he's not like skateboarding, but he was like a roller skating, stuff like that. Because in St. Louis, here we like to roller skate. We have different kinds of like roller rinks and everything. So that was our thing. That's still our thing, but like they shut down most of them. So when I was little, I used to look up to my older brother and stuff like that, because he was always skating backwards and stuff. I'm like, dang, I wanted to be just like him, And and he just taught me how to compete and try to get better at that. But I need to get back into skating. So,
I've been to skating rinks in Atlanta because my sister lives out there, and it's serious, man. It's real serious out there. So you can't get out there unless you know what you're doing. But it's cool to see that that's like it's a social thing that people do, and there's definitely levels to it too.
Yeah, it is, because if you see people over here, man, it's just like they just competing and everything, and it's a social thing too. And like you said, you gotta know what you're doing, because if not, then you're gonna be real embarrassed and stuff. Like they'll literally laugh at you, bro. It's no joke.
I know. That's why I say the sidelines.
It's crazy, but I know along with skateboarding, when you created Rastaclat, you said it was out of shoelaces. What sparked that idea? Like after the first creation of the bracelet, what made you want to keep going? Like,
it was, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an engineer. I'd make bridges out of straws and things like that. So I've always been a builder, someone sort of like has a vision for something and then makes it happen in that sense. And so that's kind of how the first bracelet came about.
Yeah.
But the reason why I kept doing it was really because how it made people feel. Because I go to school and my friends would ask me for this bracelet, whether it was when I was 17 to right now. People have a sense of inspiration. People have a sense of positivity. People have a sense of confidence when they wear the bracelet or they have that experience with it. Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with that. And I always tell everyone at Rastaclat, like, how do we scale positivity? How do we scale that positive feeling? And so, from that point, at 17 years old, I made that sort of promise to myself that, that I wanted to do that. And so the next step was like, okay, how do I build a brand and make this thing sustainable and build a product that exudes that message? And so, really to answer your question, what made me want to continue doing it is how it made other people feel, because it gave me a sense of self-worth, and we've all been 17 before, and that's not an easy age to navigate through, so the fact that something so simple gave me that sense of belonging and self-worth is the reason why I kept doing it, and honestly, it's the reason I keep doing it, so it's great.
That's a good thing. And I know dang, I forgot her name, because I know I listened to the other lady's podcast last week that you were on, and
Karen,
you talked about your first festival. Like, what was and you said you kept, like, people was like, no, this is a small business over there, and then how was the environment? Like, were you nervous, like, coming into that first festival, or?
Yeah, I mean, nervousness, I've always worked best when my back was against the wall. So a lot of times when I look back, I put myself in really difficult situations because I wanted to sort of prove myself. Like, for instance, I bought my first order of bracelets. I bought like 4,000 bracelets. I had nowhere to sell them to except for friends, family. And when you count up my friends and my family, that's maybe 100 people, How am I going to sell the rest of the 3,900? Like, I had to go out there and make things happen. So I think for me, it wasn't really fear. It was more about testing myself and seeing how far, at what depths and how far I would go to like make this thing a success. So, in a weird way, I was just testing myself. I was putting myself in really difficult situations, and whether it be, we would do midnight missions, where we go in the middle of the night and we, and not say that this was legal at the time, we plastered the parking lot,
really?
With paste with our things, because we knew if we did it during the day, we'd get chased out. But I knew the festival, with people would start coming through at 8 or 9 in the morning, and the first thing they're going to see is that advertisement in the parking lot, right? So we used to do things. I used to do things and get my friends and hire people to do things like this, just because I knew no one else would do it. I was like, okay, what can I do that I know nobody else will do, because I don't have the money and I don't have the access.
Exactly.
So I had to just be creative, so.
Yeah, because those creative things come in, like, when you're under pressure and everything else. I get those sometimes, too. And then I think that's the same way my sister acted, too, because she makes jewelry herself. Well, she makes bracelets, and she started off with those little, those little letter bracelets and everything. And, like, she didn't sell anything but to her family and everything else. And then now she moved up to, like, shades and lip gloss and everything. And I know when her back was against the wall, she said, like, her first vendor fair or whatever, and she just started promoting her business and everything else on Instagram and stuff like that. And then we just helped her get it out there too. But
great. That's amazing to hear stories like that.
Yeah. And I know I saw the commercial on your social media. Klay Thompson was in one of your commercials. I just want to know, like, are you a Klay Thompson fan? Like, are you an NBA? Like, I know you're a big Kobe fan.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of basketball, right? Like, I love basketball before any player, but I'm a huge Kobe fan. Kobe was a big part of my upbringing, and when you think about relentlessness and all those things, the Mamba mentality, like I live by that creed. Like I'm a Kobe disciple in that sense.
Yeah.
But Klay was one of the guys. He's from Southern Orange County, and I have a lot of people and network in that area, and he loved the brand, and we connected, and just kind of vibe from there. He's from the Bahamas. They kind of have like this. They have a foundation as well with his family, so we just aligned as a brand, and we decided to partner up. Mm-hmm. And so we had a thing with Klay, and now it's Kemba Walker. Kemba's one of our guys right now. So it's been an amazing journey of getting these pro athletes, to I'm not even really getting them. Like Kemba hit us up. He's like, hey, I love what you guys represent. I want to be a part of this. I want to be about something that's bigger than myself. And so it's been just great working with these athletes. They want to do so much good in the world, and they have so much access and a platform. So we try to do our best to be able to tell a different story, right? Because Nike's going to tell the story about, how great they are as athletes and those type of things. But who can, what's the brand that's going to come out and tell the story about how great they are as men and what they do outside of just being basketball players? And so that's a little bit of our angle when it comes to content. But yeah, Klay's awesome. I love watching Klay. How can you not? Such a smooth stroke. Always drilling threes. I mean, the guy can go for 60. And like, what did he do? He went for 60 one game and only dribbled the ball like one time,
right?
3 times.
Yeah.
Like that's a real stat. It's like greatness right there. So yeah, definitely a fan.
Yeah, because it kind of sucked when he came down last year with the I think it was the ACL injury. Over there. Yeah, that was a huge fall over there.
Yeah, the Warriors had a tough year, but they had their time. And I think Klay will be just fine. He plays the kind of game that if you have an injury like that, you can bounce back and you can have a second chapter of your career and be good.
True. Who do you think is gonna win the finals?
Lakers, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I was a little bit, I was hoping the Clippers actually got to the Western Conference Finals, even though I'm a diehard Lakers fan. It's like, I wanted to see that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if people in LA wanted to see that battle. And you also want to see who really is the king of LA, because I think the Nuggets were just a bad matchup for the Clippers, but and I think that the Lakers wouldn't be up probably 2-0 against the Clippers, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
This year, hopefully this next year, but I'm hoping that it's this level of competitiveness. I want to see the Lakers and Clippers go head to head, but right now, I think the Lakers are the best team that are the best of the last 4 teams out there, and that's just a point blank for me. But you never know. You just never know.
Yeah. Okay, so since you're a big Lakers fan, have you ever thought about doing a collab with LeBron James or anything, or Anthony Davis?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's thought about doing a collab with LeBron James. anyone that's got a business, I think when you start looking at the business of basketball, it's different. We obviously have the NBA license. We make products for the Lakers. I mean, I make a product that has LeBron James. I have a product that says LeBron James on it, and it's a legitimate Lakers LeBron James bracelet, right?
Oh, that's dope.
But it doesn't necessarily mean I have a collaboration with LeBron, right? This is a licensing deal with the NBA, and LeBron James is part of the NBA. So, in a sense, I have a collaboration with them already. But, when you think about, like, really having that personal collaboration with athletes, it's a different game these days. These athletes have so much power and have so much access that, you want to do something with them. There's got to be real value behind it. A lot of them are asking for, equity. They want to be part of that company, because they understand their value, they understand their worth. And so I think when you want to do something like that with athletes of that level, LeBron, Anthony Davis, any top 10 athlete, you really got to think about, are they going to be part of this brand, right? And, and really work out, what you're willing to give up to have that partnership. And then there's other situations where LeBron, you see his outfits, you see these outfits, Kuz, all the guys that are in the NBA, they wear different brands, just, different messaging that they believe in. And so that's another opportunity of how to, access some of these guys and collaborate with them, is just give them a product that resonates with them. So, right now I'm thinking about Seek the Positive and what that means. And that's something that LeBron would get behind. I mean, he's a spokesperson for, a lot of athletes and the entire, ethnic group, African American. So,
right.
So yeah, in terms of collaboration, it can come in different ways, So, but yeah, definitely one day would love to work with him and AD and, any athlete
Yeah, because I saw the Seek the Positive Foundation. That's something new, correct? So like,
Yeah,
um,
I just launched that about 30 minutes ago.
yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so the foundation is live. Like I just said, just before I got on this call, we just sent the emails out. We launched it on our social media.
Mm-hmm.
So it's live. I mean, it's been 10 years since I started Rastaclat. And I keep telling people, at one point you're just trying to survive. You're in college right now. You're just trying to get through school, trying to find your first job, trying to find something that you can really, that really sticks. And one day you will get to that point, and the next thing that you start thinking about is like, how can I really have an impact in people's lives? And so, in my journey where I'm at now, it's like that foundation is a big part of that. We're focusing on equality, whether it's through gender, race, different things of that nature, and also personal development. Really teaching people the skill sets that they don't teach you in school, that you need mentors and things of that nature to progress in life. So it's a really beautiful moment for us. So the foundation is live. Check it out. It's at Seek the Positive Foundation on Instagram or seekthepositive.org if you want to check it online. But yeah, we're going to be giving away scholarships, grants, donations to anything that's around equality and personal development. So I'm excited.
Okay. Okay, I got a couple more questions, and then I'll be out your way. All right. Dang. I'm trying to look for it. All right. So with everything that's going on, like, what are your feelings? Like, well, we already know how we're feeling, but like, what are your first expressions towards like the racial injustice that was going on in 2020 with Jacob Blake recently and George Floyd that just happened a couple months ago?
Yeah, man, it's been. What's weird about it is if you're an African American, this isn't like something new. You know what I'm saying? It's like for a lot of other people, they're seeing it for the first time, and there's that shock value. Yeah. I think for us, it's like, man, like this is just another day, right? Yeah. But it's really sad, and I think what's great about this time around is other people are paying attention. You go to these protests, and it's not just African Americans out there. There's people of all shapes and colors out there supporting Black Lives Matter and what's going on. And so I think that's the positive that's coming out of this is just that the awareness and people understanding what's going on. I think the other side of it that we've just got to figure out how to make a difference on is the system that's been built.
Right.
That's not advantageous to African Americans in this country. And if you think about it, that system's been built over a course of 400 years. So we've got to figure out a way to every single election, every single year, every single leader that we elect has to be able to get us closer to evening that scale.
Exactly.
And I think we need to be, as much as we are impatient and we want change immediately, we have to understand that it's going to take time and it's going to take consistency, and we're going to have to be on this day in and day out. And that's why I think it's great that people are keeping this movement like going forward. And when I talk about the movement, I'm not even really talking about Black Lives Matter movement. I'm talking about the awareness and understanding what's really going on,
right,
and how we can do our own part to lead on a better future in the future. So a lot of that is education. A lot of that is reform in the prison systems. A lot of that is getting funding to the neighborhoods that don't. And so what my message is find a way that you can make a difference. Like, we can't all do everything, but you have something that you have something special that you can do, and access that you have that someone else may not. So just find your lane and do your part, because it's going to be a collective effort for decades, if not centuries, to get it to the point that we want. And so one day at a time.
Yeah, because that's the same thing me and my homeboy was talking about a couple months ago when we were talking about, like, what can we do as a community to, like, make change. And he said first thing to do is it starts at home, just to educate ourselves and to find out, like, what's going on with us. And because especially us as a people, like, we just have to, like, educate ourselves and learn to love one another,
Yeah, and if you think about the history of African Americans and Black people in this country, is like the family construct's been broken over so many years. So it's like, how do we personally do that when you have a child, when you get married? Like, awareness, and then there's the other side of it is like there's other people that want to help that just don't have the context, right? And we have to educate other people and do it in a way where people are apt to like listen, you know, because we may be at a level of frustration, like we're coming in at this level, but someone might be just coming in curious, like, oh, what's going on? I've never heard about this before.
Right.
So finding different ways to communicate what we want to communicate in the right way. And I think for the most part, people want to do good, you know, and I think there's definitely people out there that are not about it, but I think for the most part, more people that I meet than not, they want to do good, they want equality, they want all the things that we talk about. So, you know, it's just a matter of making it happen.
Exactly. I know, like, also COVID-19 has been going on. Like, how has your business been affected by that? Has it been, like, steady?
Yeah,
It's been
I think everyone's business has been affected pretty, you know, in negative and positive ways, and we're no different. You know, I think there's ways, you know, obviously we've had ways to communicate, seek the positive in our message, and build a community that's even stronger, right, which has been a positive for us ever since March, you know. And it's also helped us stand out because a lot of brands aren't really about that positivity. They just kind of came out at that point and were about it. But we were able to sort of continue to just be about what we are naturally. And then obviously from a business perspective, you know, it's like this, you know, we have the NBA, we have Major League Baseball, we are the official licensee of Team USA in the Olympics. Right. All of those things were postponed. We didn't know what was going on. So that was kind of like, you just kind of on hold with that. And then also, you talked about Zoomies, where you bought your first bracelet. You know, people aren't going into Zoomies, you know, buying their first bracelet or whatever the case may be. So, you know, definitely business is affected in those ways, but you find new ways, and that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. That's what being a problem solver is all about, is finding new ways to reach your audience, finding new ways that have, like, impact with them. So we focus a lot on e-commerce and sending our message through there and creating cool programs where people feel engaged, feel like even though they're stuck in this, we're all still kind of quarantined, you know, you still have a good feeling about the product that you're purchasing and what that's, you know, doing to the community and so on and so forth. So yeah, it hasn't been easy, but it's been a really, really great challenge, you know, and, you know, I think everyone's going through it, which kind of makes it, I don't want to say easier, but it's, it doesn't feel, you don't feel as alone, you know, you're in it with everybody else. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, since you've been quarantining, have you, like, picked up any other hobbies, or you just been consistently busy?
I've been pretty busy, you know. I moved, so that's, I don't know if you ever have moved, but I'm sure you have, but it takes a little bit of time. So I moved from California to Nevada, so, you know, I'm still in the middle of that. So my hobby is just getting my house in order, and, you know, I like to make sure my TVs, you know, are in the right spot. I got a good system, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So just been focusing on that and trying to work out a little bit more, eat healthier. I definitely been eating a lot healthier this year, and you know, trying to connect with family a little bit more than I had in the past. So yeah. I don't know if I had any new hobbies, but just definitely, you know, refining habits, you know, and different things like that.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do, just refine happiness. I think that's one thing I was trying to do too, like just to figure out what I'm gonna do with life, with everything, because when we just went into quarantine on lockdown, I just came back from spring break over in California. Mm-hmm. So I had to fly all the way back here, and I was just on the verge of looking for a job as well as soon as I graduate, but I know it just didn't work out that way. So I was like, you know, I gotta find the happiness or the positive side out of this, and I just turned out to, like, this podcast or whatever I was doing at school, I just turned out to make it my own. So I just turned out doing this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think the more that you can expose yourself and do different things, you'll find your lane too, you know. So, you know, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's, I know we kind of went back and forth, but I think what you represent is that tenacity, that persistence. You know, it's not easy getting people's time and all those type of things. And, you know, obviously you've done a really, really great job at that. And, I hope it inspires a lot of people. If you ever need anything, you guys know where to find me, Daniel.Kasidi on Instagram. And if you want any Rastaclat bracelets, Rastaclat.com, make sure you go check it out.
Most definitely. Appreciate your time, Daniel.
All right. Hey, Josh, appreciate it too.